The presidency says it will appeal the North Gauteng High Court judgment. This after the court set aside the removal of former National Director of Public Prosecutions, Nkqasana. The presidency said it would appeal on the basis of separation of powers principle and constitutional legality. The judge ruled that it would not be just to reinstate Nkqasana and declared the position vacant. The court holds that President Jacob Zuma is conflicted in appointment of a new NPA head because of his current legal challenges. The post will be left vacant for 60 days and Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa must appoint a new NPA head. This is a blow to the current NDPP, Sean Abrams, who must now leave his post. Nkqasana had accepted a 17 million rand golden handshake from President Zuma and left the National Prosecuting Authority in 2015. The court ordered Nkqasana to pay back the money.
The presidency notes the judgment handed down today by the North Gauteng High Court in the application launched by two NGOs against the President of the Republic of South Africa, seeking the removal of the current National Director of Public Prosecutions. While the President awaits a full briefing on the judgment, he has been advised that an early assessment displays with respect various grounds upon which a successful appeal may be prosecuted. The National Prosecuting Authority is an important institution in our constitutional democracy, appointments in respect of which are not made lightly. Together with judges who are likewise appointed by the President, the National Director of Public Prosecutions plays a vital role in the criminal justice system. Minded by the principle of the separation of powers, constitutional legality and the rule of law, the judgment will be appealed. Out of deference to the court and the judicial system, these grounds will be properly ventilated in the normal course in court proceedings.
In the result, we make the following order on the application of Corruption Watch and Freedom under law. 1. The settlement agreement between the President, the Minister of Justice and Mr. Nkqasana, dated 14 May 2015, is reviewed, declared invalid and set aside. 2. The termination of the appointment of Mr. Nkqasana as National Director of Public Prosecutions is declared unconstitutional and invalid. 3. The decision to authorize payment to Mr. Nkqasana of an amount of 17,357,233 rands in terms of the settlement is reviewed, declared invalid and set aside.
Well, let's cross over to my colleague Rapetse Glope for the key takeaways from the judgment.
But let's just take a look at the key takeaways from the judgment. First up, the settlement agreement between the President, the Minister of Justice and Nkqasana, dated May 2015, has been reviewed, declared invalid and set aside. The next point to take note of, the termination of Nkqasana as the National Director of Public Prosecutions has been declared unconstitutional and invalid. Point number 3 to note, the decision to authorize payment to Nkqasana of 17 million rand has been declared invalid and set aside. He's, of course, got to pay that money back. The appointment of Sean Abrams as the National Director of Public Prosecutions has been declared invalid and set aside. The incumbent President may not appoint, suspend or remove the National Director of Public Prosecutions. Also, the Deputy President is expected now to be responsible for the decisions relating to the appointment and suspension of the National Director of Public Prosecutions. And finally, an order of invalidity suspended for a period of 60 days or until such a time as the Deputy President has appointed a new National Director of Public Prosecutions.